One decision, just one, can change the entire direction of your life. Your destiny isn't determined by your conditions. It's determined by your decisions. Every door you walk through or walk past is shaping your tomorrow today. Listen, I'm going to teach you how to make decisions that create momentum, build legacy, and move you toward God's best. Because wisdom isn't just knowing what to do, but it's choosing to do it on today's show.
Welcome to the Dave Martin Podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Dave Martin Show. I'm so glad that you've joined me today. I know there's a lot of things you've got going on. That's why I make these short, concise, kind of concentrate, right? I'm going to turn this into a book, the teaching I've been doing, and I think it'll expand. But you ever, growing up, we used to get orange juice concentrate. You know, it'd come in a little thing, and then you just add water, and it'd make a whole big pitcher. Well, this is the concentrate version. I'm going to give you the principle, and then we'll just keep adding water and keep getting some more understanding on it. But today, make sure you like, by the way, make sure you like the podcast. I don't know where you're watching, whether it's on YouTube or iTunes or where you may be watching, but you can subscribe. Make sure you know, set your notifications that every time we put out a new one, it'll alert you, or go to the website, davemartin.org. Make sure you sign up. Make sure we have your email, and then we'll email you every time the new one comes out. Make it real simple for you, and it gives us an opportunity to stay connected so that you know when we have new books come out or we're doing a webinar or whatever it may be. We want to stay connected with you. Also, make sure you're following me on Instagram at Dr. Dave Martin, Facebook, all those kind of things. We'd love to stay connected with you here at Dave Martin International. Well, I'm talking about the wisdom factor. Started last last session on wisdom over hustle. The grind is important, but wisdom makes the difference. Today, I want to dive into something that I think could literally change the entire direction of your life, and that is your decisions. Let's talk about decisions, because your destiny is not determined by your conditions. I think it's determined by your decisions. I'm writing a whole book that, it's actually finished, and we're just waiting to the right timing to publish it, on decisions, because that's something that we all have to, I wrote this book several years ago, and I still have not published it. It's funny. I was trying to come up with a name. I decided to call it I Can't Decide. How about a book on decisions that you can't decide what to call it? So decisions are important. You might not get to choose everything that happens to you, but you do get to choose how you respond to the things that happen to you. And those choices, those daily decisions, are what's writing your future. I mean, think about it. One decision can alter the entire trajectory of your life. One yes could open a door that you've prayed for. One no could keep you from years of regret. And one decision can delay or doing nothing. It could cost you more than a wrong choice ever could. Indecision is still decision. Choosing not to make a decision. And usually indecision is the one that costs you the most. So let's talk about decisions. The Bible's full of examples of people who made decisions that defined their destiny. Joshua chapter 24, this guy Joshua stood before the people of Israel, and he said, choose this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Now, that wasn't just a statement that he made. It was a decision. And it didn't just affect Joshua. Think about this. As for me and my house, it affected his whole household, his decision. That's why I always tell parents, your decision to get your kids to church affects their whole life. Your decision to get them there. Generations were impacted because of one man's decision. I've been impacted. My son's been impacted because before him, my grandfather made a decision to put God first and to take his family to church. And generation after generation now has made God and made church a priority. So now contrast Joshua with a guy like King Saul. Saul, given command by God to completely destroy the Amalekites, right? But he decided to compromise. He decided to partially obey, partially do. That was his decision. And that one decision cost him the throne. It cost him his entire legacy. You ever seen someone make one bad decision that ended them up in prison the rest of their life? So Saul, the bad decision cost him his peace. And it's sobering to realize that greatness and regret often hinge on one single moment of decision. Here's what wisdom does. Wisdom doesn't just push you to decide quickly. Wisdom pushes you to decide correctly. Oh, that's good. You might want to write that. Let me say that again. Wisdom doesn't just push you to decide quickly. Wisdom pushes you to decide correctly. Wisdom brings clarity when emotions are clouded. Wisdom asks the questions that your feelings will ignore. I think in 2000, the New England Patriots drafted Tom Brady. Now, I like Tom Brady, so you'll hear me talk about him a lot. And I just watched the documentary. So he was the 199th pick, right? A decision that most people ignored. This guy, Tom Brady, got drafted at Michigan and then 199th pick. But that one choice changed NFL history. If they hadn't picked him, things would have been different. I mean, so Super Bowls later, 6, 7 Super Bowls later, we're reminded how one decision, whether to pick, whether to pursue, whether to preserve, one decision altered everything. One decision you make can alter everything. I use what I call the 3 filters of wisdom. All right, the 3 filters. Before I make a big decision, first filter, does this line up with my values and my convictions? Does this line up? If it violates who I am or what I stand for, then it's not wisdom for me to do that. Does it line up with my values and my convictions? Secondly, what would my future self, would my future self thank me for this decision? Right? I talk about this sometimes. When you're about to make a bad decision, borrow some pain from your future. Right? Think, if I make this, here's the pain I'm going to have to deal with. Let me think about this one more time. Borrow some pain. So that's kind of this. What would my future self thank me for? And that one question could change everything, because it forces you to step out for a moment and think long term, right? And then the third filter, who have I invited to speak into this? I mentioned it last week, talking about wise counsel. They'll see things you can't see. Sometimes I'm so excited about this, I want to do it. I'm blinded. I get blinded by some of the other things that I need to look at because it just looks good. So plans fail for a lack of counsel, but with many advisors, it's in Proverbs. I think it's Proverbs 15. But early in my career, I had an opportunity to jump into a partnership that looked amazing. It looked, on paper, it was gold. I had the contract. Everyone was excited about it. I was hustling. I was eager. And I almost said yes. I remember. But something inside of me just wasn't at peace. This felt like God said, this isn't it. I remember I had the contract. I remember I even held it up toward heaven so God could look at it. I wanted him to be able to see. It looks really good, But I slowed down and I asked myself these 3 questions. I brought it to a mentor of mine and got some more wisdom. And he looked at me and said, Dave, I know it looks good right now, but long term, it's going to pull you off course. Oh, but it looks so good. This is the one conversation. That one conversation saved me years of headache. It was a decision that I didn't even make, but it was still a decision, and it kept me aligned with my calling. Wisdom will help you stay true to your purpose and not get distracted. Now, some of you. Right now, you're at a crossroad. You're saying, Dave, that's me. You're standing in front of maybe a big decision. Maybe it's a career decision. Maybe it's about your marriage. Maybe it's about a business deal that you've got going on, and you're tempted to stall. You're tempted to wait. You're tempted just to hope it just works itself out. We'll just kind of see what happens. But indecision is also costing you. Delaying a wise choice is often just as destructive as making a dumb one or a foolish one. So let me challenge you, stop waiting for perfect conditions. Here's what it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 11. Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. If you wait for everything to line up, if you wait for everything to be perfect, you're never going to act. You'll never do anything. You know, the old ready, aim, fire. I had a guy that worked for me. He was ready, aim. I'm like, just pull the stinking trigger. I'm like, ready, fire. Okay, readjust, shoot again. Okay, readjust, shoot again, right? Wisdom sometimes just says, go now, step out, trust God, and he'll work it out. Of course, wisdom doesn't mean be reckless. I'm not talking about recklessness. Wisdom means, how about this? Measured courage. A couple of weeks, we're going to talk about courage a little bit. If you don't have my book, 12 Traits of the Greats, there's a whole chapter in there on courage, the importance of courage. I'd encourage you, go to my website, davemartin.org. You can grab that book. Actually, I think there may be a special on there that's like a few books that you can get. You could start your little Dave Martin library for like the price of like 2 books or something right now. Anyway, make sure you check that out. Wisdom, though, it means measured courage. Wisdom doesn't rush you, but it doesn't let you freeze either. You got to make a decision. Wisdom aligns your decisions with God's principles, with long-term perspective, and with wise counsel. So this week, here's what I want you to do. Coaching moment. Ready? Dr. Dave, you're a success coach. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about one decision you've been avoiding. Okay? Think about one decision that you have been avoiding. Maybe it's a tough conversation that you need to have with someone. Maybe it's cutting something out of your life that you know just isn't good for you. Maybe it's cutting someone out of your life. Maybe you need to unfriend somebody. Maybe it's saying yes to an opportunity that scares you a little bit. I've got someone in my life, I said, man, I really see this in you. And they took a long time to take the step because they were a little scared of what may be ahead. And I said, this is, so sometimes it's just the courage to take the step. Maybe you know deep down that God's in it, right? But you, gosh, I don't know. It's a big jump. Okay, write the decision down. Okay, here's what I want you to do. Write the decision down, pray over it, and then run it through those 3 filters I gave you. Okay? Write it down, pray about it, run it through those 3 filters, and then just make a decision. Okay? Here's the bottom line. The life you're living today is the harvest of yesterday's decisions. The decisions you made yesterday, the choices you made yesterday got you to where you are today. So here's the good news. The life that you want to live in the future, the life that you'll live tomorrow, will be the harvest of the choices that you make today. So if you don't like your harvest, guess what? Change your decisions. Change your decisions. You don't have to stay stuck. You can change one wise decision at a time. Don't let fear keep you from making a decision. And don't let fear cause you to make a decision. Don't let delay rob you of your destiny. Lean into wisdom, okay? Choose clarity. And remember this, wisdom wins every time. All right? That's the wisdom factor. And that's what we're talking about the next few weeks right here on the Dave Martin Show. The wisdom factor. Make sure you share this with someone else, maybe someone that's in the valley of decision. and get this information to them. Get the podcast to them. Make sure you like, subscribe. Go to the website, davemartin.org. Check it out. Sign up, your email, and join us. Join us every time we got a new podcast comes out. They'll let you know all about it. I hope this is helping you. You know what? Take just a minute and go down in that comment section and let me hear from you. I love hearing from you. I love hearing how it impacts you. DM me, send me a message on Instagram somewhere, and let's connect. And I want to hear what is happening in your life. This is Dr. Dave, your success coach, and I will see you next time. Session 3 of the Wisdom Factor.